Hello everyone, and then welcome to another video. So in this video we'll be talking about what AC circuits. Okay, so we'll be diving into AC alternating current circuits. So what we were doing previously were all direct currents. Okay, so the currents were coming in to the circuit directly. Okay, that's why you have our resistors and all that. Okay, so but this we'll be doing what alternating current circuits. Okay, so keep this in mind. The first portion of what your applied electricity course, okay, that's the direct current, resistors and all that, might sound a bit confusing, but the second portion, okay, that's where we have our alternating current, sinusoidal voltages and currents and all that are all what calculation work. Okay, so they are all formula work, so they are a bit, or I would say very simple. Okay, all you need to know is what the formula. Okay, so without further much ado, let's dive right into this video. Okay, in case you are new here, kindly subscribe. Okay, subscribe and hit on the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any uploaded video. Okay, and one more important thing, kindly like. Okay, it helps the channel. Okay, it helps push the video to other students who are also in need of this video just like you. Okay, so kindly like the video. Okay, and then you can ask any question you want in the comment section below, and then I'll reply to them. Okay, so now, as I stated earlier, okay, this video is very short, and then I'll be just tackling the what, as I already stated, the second portion of the video is what based on calculation, okay, formula work. So we'll be diving into what the formula okay work, okay, formula portions of what, or calculation portions of what this topic. Okay, so there are two things you need to know. Okay, there are two formulas you need to know for alternating current. That's what introduction to alternating current. Okay, so you need to know what the average value, okay, that's the current. Okay, so let's say we have AV, okay, has to be equal to what, a certain area, okay, area which is in what, FT. Okay, right. So now then you divide this by what, your period. Okay, so the T is our period. Okay, so this is what our average value. Okay, average value, right. So we also have the what, the root mean square value. Okay, so that is represented by what, RMS. Okay, root mean square value, and then it has its own formula. Okay, so this is the formula. Okay, similar to this, but we have what, root sign. Okay, then we have area which is in what, time. Okay, frequency of what, time. Okay, and then divided by what, period. Okay, so for this you need to what, square your what, you need to raise your entire cycle. Okay, so the FT is what, your cycle, so you raise that to the power what, 2. Okay, so this is what our root mean square, root mean square what, root mean square current. Okay, so now we will take simple what questions on this. Okay, and then we will call it a day. Okay, this is very short. Okay, I want you to understand the concept. Okay, so as I stated earlier, alternating current is all about formula work. Okay, once you know the formula, that's it. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, so let's dive right into this example. Okay, so we are told to find what, A. Okay, we are told to find what, average value, and then the B, we are told to find what, root mean squared value. Now let's proceed. So once you meet any question like this, the first thing you need to know is the formula. Okay, the formula for what, your average value, and then formula for what, root mean square. Okay, so this is a formula for average value, this is a formula for root mean square. Now the second thing you need to know is what to identify the cycle, okay? Identify your cycle, okay? So this is how you identify your cycle. So you start from point 0, okay? And then when you go around this, okay, this is your entire cycle, okay? So from here, you know that we are moving in this direction, okay? Come down and then move to this point again. So this is your entire cycle. So your entire cycle is from 0 to what? 4, okay? The same thing applies to this side, okay? So this is your entire cycle, okay? So you move from this point, okay, to this point, okay? Right. So this is included, okay? Remember that this is included. So you start from this point to that point, okay? Now, so that means that we are starting from point 0, okay? Point 0 to that point. This one cycle, okay? And this another cycle, okay? Now, let's proceed. So first you need to identify your cycle, okay? So you move from 0 to 4, okay? So now, then you proceed toward finding your period, okay? Your cycle will help you find your period, okay? So since your cycle is from 0 to what, 4, it means that your period is what? 4, okay? Your period is what? 4, and then the period is what? In seconds, so you have what? 4 seconds. Now, the next thing is what? To find your area, okay? So for area, you need to identify whether you are finding it for what? Your average value or what? Root mean square. So let's first find for what? Average value. So for finding area for average value, okay? This is your entire area, okay? So this is your entire area. So we know that the cycle is from 0 to this point, and then it crosses to this point to the other point. So it means that you find the area for this entire what? Half a cycle, okay? And then you add it to this cycle, okay? You add that to this cycle, okay? So we are finding area for 1 and then area for 2, okay? So now we have what? Area, okay? Our area is equal to what? We know our area is what? Length times breadth, okay? So let's see our length. So from 0 to 2 is our length, okay? Multiplied by what? Our breadth, that's what? E, okay? And you add that to what? From 2 to 4 is also what? Difference 2, okay? 4 minus 2 will give us what? 2. So that's our what? Length for this what? Half cycle, okay? 2 to 4, that's our length, so that's what? 2, and then multiply by what? E, okay? From this point to this point is our what? Our breadth, okay? Let's say our breadth, so that's what? Negative E, okay? So now from here, you could notice that when you do this calculation, you get your area to what? 0, okay? So now let's proceed. So now let's find what? Our average value, okay? So our average value is what? AV, okay? Is equal to what? Our area, okay, divided by what? Our period, okay? So our area is what? 0 divided by what? The period is 4, so our what? Average value will be equal to what? 0, okay? So that's what? Finding average value. Now let's move on to what? Finding our what? Root mean squared, okay? So now, for root mean squared, the same principle applies. You find your what? Your cycle, okay? You find what? Your cycle, okay? So our cycle is what? From 0 to 4, okay? From 0, okay, to 4. Now, and then you move on to find what? Your period. Your period is the same, okay? So from 0 to 2, and then from 2 to 4, okay? Means where the what? Cycle ends, okay? But for the area, it will look a bit different, okay? So let's do that over here so that you know the difference, okay? Now, this is what? Average value, okay? Now let's look at what? Our root mean square value, okay? So you know that our cycle will remain the same, okay? That's from 0 to what? 4. And then what? Our period will also what? Remain the same, okay? That's what? 4 seconds, okay? Right. Now let's look at the area. The area will be a bit different because of what? Because for root mean square, you have to square your what? You have to. That's why it's referred to as what? Root mean square, okay? You square your cycle, okay? So let's see. But let's first find out what area, okay? And then one thing you need to know is that for root mean square, since your your cycle is being squared, the negative sign is being what? It's not affected, okay? For average value, notice that we didn't square our cycle, so a half cycle, okay, for this portion. So it means that this cycle was what? Negative, so yeah, it affected the entire area, okay, the entire value for the area. But for root mean square, since the cycle will be squared, okay, so when you square something like e, okay, minus e, okay, you end up with what? Positive what? Value, okay? Yes, that's what I mean. Now let's proceed. That's what I wanted to clarify. So this is how you find your what? Root mean squared, okay? So for the cycle, this cycle then becomes what? Positive. So you move this negative portion of the cycle to the top, okay, so that you convert it to positive, okay? So this is how the cycle will look like, okay? So from 0 to what? To 2 and then to 4, okay? So this entire cycle will look like this. So you have what? A positive e. So it will look like this, okay? And then the one which is supposed to be down here to make our what? As our period negative will be brought to the top, okay? Like this, okay? Like this, okay? So this will be also positive. So the area, when calculating the area, this is how you calculate your area, okay? So the area will now be what? For this entire cycle, we have what? 2 times what are e, okay? You are considering the first half cycle, okay? So you have what? 2 times e, okay? And then plus what? This one, okay? The second one, so you have length to what? 2, and then what? Breadth to what? E, okay? So from here, you notice that what? This will give us what? 4e, okay? Now, so the next step is what? To square your what? Your cycle, okay? So for root mean square, that's why it's referred to what? Root mean square, okay? You square your cycle, okay? So now this e will be what? Squared, okay? Okay, you square your cycle, okay? So now you have what? E squared. So our area then becomes what? Our area then becomes 4e what? Squared. And then after that we find out our root mean squared, okay? So our root mean squared is what? Root of the area, okay? Root of the area divided by what? Our period, okay? So now we have what? Area to be what? 4e squared, okay, divided by what? Our period, which was what? 4 seconds, okay? So 4 seconds. So when you simplify this, you'll be left with what? Root of what? E squared, okay? Since 4 cancel 4 out, and then when you do the simplification, you end up with what? Your root mean squared value being equal to what? E, okay? So this brings us to the end of this video. As I already stated earlier, alternating current questions are always what? Formula work, okay? Once you understand the formula, okay, and then you understand the concept, you can just implement it to find your final answer, okay? So thanks again for staying with me to the end of the video. Kindly subscribe, okay? Hit on the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any uploaded video, okay? Kindly like the video so that it gets recommended to other students who are also in need of this video, okay? And then ask your questions in the comment section below. I'll reply to them. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.